Originally released as Superstar for Star Cruises, it was transferred to NCL in 2004 and renamed the Norwegian Spirit. Passenger capacity is 2018, crew capacity 912, and the ship was last refurbished in 2022. You will use 3 types of signs on this ship. Each one will be directing you on the deck or directing you to what's going on in the ship activity area. This will be an electronic board. You will also notice that the fish on the carpet swim towards the front of the ship. Now let's do a visual tour of our cabin. It's an interior cabin. Windows is the main complimentary dining room. It is very large and beautiful. This can only be accessed through the rear stairway or elevators in the back of the ship. These windows in the back of the restaurant provide some glorious views during dinner. Taste is the second complimentary restaurant and is located on the 6th deck midship. It is only accessible through the mid elevators and stairway. It's much smaller in size. Moving up to deck 7 aft, which is the back of the ship, we come to Stardust Theater. This is where you're going to find most of your main productions for this ship. And these chairs you see on the side, they actually put them down in front when the stage is at its normal position. Currently, they have the stage extended out for a very large production that they did, and the entertainment was really nice. Heading down the hall, we come to Cagney's. This is the Steakhouse. Here's a little view of the restaurant menu. We did have the opportunity to eat here, and the food was delicious. Also, the service, top-notch. As we exit Cagney's, we head down the hall and we come to book your next cruise as we enter into the foyer area or atrium area. This is going to be an area where you're going to have a lot of activities going on during the day, including your trivia stuff. In the afternoon and evening, you're going to have different musical groups playing in this area. On the port side of the atrium, you find the Atrium Cafe. This is the Starbucks-style coffee house. They're going to produce your nice coffees here. They're going to sell some pastries and meringue cookies. All of this is an upcharge. As you look forward in the atrium, you see guest services. They're located in the middle. Now you can see all the Christmas decorations we had up. It was really beautifully done throughout the ship. Connect is located next to guest services on that forward part of the atrium. This is where you're going to get all your internet connections done. They do have some computer stations, very helpful. Oh, and here we come to Henry's Pub. It's right past Connect, and this is a place where you can connect with others on the ship. It's a small little pub. They do have music playing during different times of the day. As we exit Henry's Pub, we go across the atrium. We see some more of the Christmas decorations. Now, as we head up the starboard side going forward, we come to the Local. The Local is a complimentary restaurant where you pretty much can get dining throughout the day. I think they open at 7 and end at 11. Simple bar and grill. Now, as we continue to head forward, we come to La Bistro. This is the French-style upcharge restaurant. I was unable to actually get in for a meal because it was busy, but this was a picture from the outside of it. It looks like a nice place to have a meal. As we continue forward, we come to the Spirit Casino and Social Comedy and Nightclub. This is actually a fairly large casino with lots of tables and slot machine action going on. Here's a separate room that's for high stake card players. And if you look up above, you can see the smoking section that's all walled off. The social club and comedy club area was predominantly used for family activities and for the teenage crowd doing things like karaoke and other social events. There was no comedy held here on our sailing. It was all held in the Stardust Theater. The external promenade deck actually goes all the way around the ship, and 4 laps equals 1.4 miles. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a very beautiful place to walk. Kind of keeps you out of the wind when the weather's nice. And if you need a break from your walking, well, there's an external entry to Henry's Pub. So here you can get that little bit of refreshment in between your laps. Alright, let's return to the inside of the ship, forward deck 8. This is where you're going to find the artwork that'll be auctioned off later in your cruise on display. As we continue to walk towards the back of the ship, we come to Tide's Boutique. And we also come to Perspective Studios. This is where you can get your photography done. And then they have the place to sell you all the pictures they already took. Now, just outside of that, just before we get to the atrium, is Magnum's Champagne Bar. Now, you can get more than champagne here. And in the evenings, they'll oftentimes have a piano player playing. As we continue to walk past the atrium, I'm struck by a little memory I had on this cruise. This is where Kathy and I got to celebrate New Year's Eve, as this was a New Year's Eve cruise. It was quite the fun time, not gonna lie, great music and lots of energy. Alright, back to the tour. Tradewinds is next on our walk going towards the back of the ship on deck 8. This is where you're going to find a lot of the boutique-y type shops where they're selling their watches, their perfumes, different clothing. If you're into picking up that kind of souvenir, this is where you're going to locate it. Alright, let's continue to head towards the back of the ship. As we continue down the hall, we come to an area that has 3 restaurants. Here you'll find a sushi bar. It's an upcharge, but I will say it's delicious. You'll also find Silk, which is their Chinese restaurant, and it is complimentary. And there in the back is the teppanyaki tables, and this is also an upcharge, but once again, from my experience, it was delicious. Continuing down the hall towards the back of the ship, we come to the Stardust Theater. Decks 9, 10, and 11 are all cabin decks with one cool feature. Each of those decks have rear exit doors in their hallways to the Spice H2O area, which is the adult pool area. This area has its own bar, 2 different jacuzzi tubs, a large swimming pool, and as you can see, nice recliners located throughout. The stadium-style seating also gives you some shade and some tables to sit at if you want to get some food from the Garden Cafe. Let's move to 13 forward and find the multifunction room. This really is just a game room. You'll oftentimes find kids in here or families in here enjoying different games. It has several tables set up for either checkers or chess, and also has other free games and books for people to enjoy. Stepping outside on deck 13, we find the sports deck and jogging track. Now, as we head towards the back of the ship, the first thing we come to is the beer gardens on the sports deck. Yeah, here you can sit and enjoy a nice cold beer, and they have several TV screens where you can watch the different games going on. Now, this red track that goes right next to the beer garden is the jogging track. Now, I wasn't really able to find out how many laps equals a mile on this, but one of the crew members did tell me it was about 14. You can see it runs right back by the basketball courts, around the back of the ship here. Then we come to 2 golf cages where you can practice your driving. One looks pretty worn, the other one looks almost brand new. Now let's keep moving forward, and we're going to go inside the ship next, back onto deck 12 forward. This by far was my favorite location on the ship, Spinnaker's Observation Lounge. Not only are the chairs really comfortable to sit in, and there's a lot of them, but the views outside of these windows is just spectacular. Up here you have a nice bar with incredible bartenders, I might add. They did a great job of taking care of us. Also located in here is the humidor, which is the smoker or cigar lounge. Now, I'm not a smoker, but I did see several people coming in and out of this room, and honestly, the smell didn't seem to escape out into the observation lounge at all. Spinnaker's also has a stage where you'll have a lot of musicians performing in the evenings and afternoons. As we leave Spinnaker's on the port side, we come to Mandara Spa and Hair Salon. Now, this is a very nice spa situation. We did take a tour of the thermal spa, and quite honestly, it left me a little bit wanting. There was a couple of saunas and some of these nice heated bed lounges and some showers, but other than that, it wasn't one of the better thermal spas that I've come across. The Pulse Fitness Center was located on the starboard side and really was a rather large area. It had lots of machine weights and free weights available, not to mention a lot of different aerobic type activities you would find there. They had a good sized activity room where I oftentimes found people stretching, and a spinning studio where you could often have spin classes. Exiting deck 12, we get into the Lido deck area. Here you'll find 4 jacuzzi tubs, 1 swimming pool. You'll locate the Waves Bar, which is a good place to get a drink on a hot day, and this cafeteria style area where they'll oftentimes serve lunch during the day. Continuing towards the back of the ship, you come to the Garden Cafe. This is the buffet area. Just past the buffet on the porch side is the upcharge Italian restaurant. We didn't get a chance to eat in here, but from other passengers, I heard the food was outstanding.